Hi everybody, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the book dating history tag, and I was tagged to do this many months ago by Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures, so I'm sorry for taking so long to get around to it, but thank you for the tag, Berna. I'll also leave the original creator down below, whose name escapes me right now, but that video is down too, so please go check out both Berna's video and the original creator's video. I thought this was a cute tag. It has some creative and fun questions, so I figured let's do it. And then while you're here, please remember to subscribe if you want to see more bookish content from me, and then also click the little bell icon if you want to be notified every time I post new videos. Question number 1 of the tag is first loves. What book was your first love? I have so many books that were my first loves because I read as a kid, and I was fortunate enough that my parents did surround me with a lot of books. Even if they weren't necessarily big readers themselves, they always sat down and read to me and fostered that love of reading in me. So there's just many very early childhood books that I remember loving and that I still think of fondly today. Some of those books would be The Velveteen Rabbit, Dr. Seuss, Goodnight Moon. Those were all picture books that I think of very fondly, and I still own a lot of them. I think I have my beat up copy of Goodnight Moon. As I became more of a middle grade reader, the Chronicles of Narnia were super important to me as a reader. Also, I read Black Beauty, which was sort of an introduction to classics for me as a kid, and I feel like those two books really represent where my reading went after that. I've always been really interested in both fantasy and classics. Those two genres have really dominated my reading life, and I think that started very early on at a young age. Question number 2 is outside your genre. What is your favorite genre? What book do you really like outside your favorite genre? I think fantasy and classics are the two that I read the most frequently. I also really love historical fiction, which I have not picked up a lot of that this year. I have in the past read a lot more historical fiction, but for whatever reason, I haven't picked up as much of that. Also, every time I read nonfiction, I'm loving it. And so I'm really excited that Nonfiction November is coming up soon because I'm so ready for some more good nonfiction books in my life. Books that I have liked outside of my favorite genre, I think I would like more like contemporary romance stuff if I find the right kind that I like, because I've really enjoyed some that I've picked up. Beach Read was one that I really liked this year, and I was thinking I should try more of this. Things that would be considered chick lit, bookish Life of Nina Hill was one I really liked. I think I read that last year when it came out. And what else? Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I think I would like contemporary books in general and more lighthearted contemporary books. I just haven't read a lot of them, but I think if I am steered in the right direction towards ones that I'm gonna like more, I think I would have some success in those genres. I also think I would really like more serious literary contemporary fiction. Murakami is an example of an author that I really liked who's more in that genre. So I guess my blanket answer for this is more contemporary works. I have enjoyed some contemporary, and I'm not closed off to those. It's just that I do find a lot more misses in that genre for me, whereas with fantasy novels, it's more rare for me to not like a fantasy book as long as it has certain elements in it. But with contemporary, I feel like I either really, really like it or it's a total flop for me. So that's definitely a genre that I would like to explore more, and I want to like it. I want to love it. Question number 3 is about catfishing, and it says, what book catfished you? Was it good or bad? From what I remember of a terrible reality TV show that I once watched, which you know how these go. You watch one episode and then you're hooked. Yeah, there was this great catfishing reality TV show, and I don't even know what it's called anymore. It might have just been called catfish, probably. But from what I've learned from watching that show, when you catfish someone, you are pretending to be someone who you are not. So a book that I had an idea of what it was going to be like, and it really just let me down, was a book that I unfortunately DNF'd, and maybe I should go back and try this book again sometime, but it was The Descendant of the Crane by Joan He. This book was advertised as a Chinese-inspired fantasy, and from the beginning I knew I was in trouble because the book really drops you in with very little information. It's a little bit disorienting. There's not a lot of things explained. And then as I read, I realized that this was more of a mystery novel, and the fantasy elements just weren't in the forefront as much as I wanted them to be. I think it was just too slow of a burn for me at the time, and I wanted something different out of the book. I just wanted it to be a little bit more upfront about what it was, and I wanted it to be more fast-paced and exciting. It wasn't that kind of book, and about halfway through the book, I still felt like I didn't really resonate with the characters, and I didn't know what the book was barely about, even about 50% of the way through. So I was 50% of the way through, I didn't enjoy it, I DNF'd it. Sad times. Question number 4 is, what matters more to you, the size of the book or the ocean of emotion? Ocean of emotion. Definitely emotional impact. I mean, I am gravitating towards a lot of big books lately. I think that's just because I've been reading a lot of high fantasy novels, which have been monstrously long, aka Stormlight Archives. But why read a book if it's just long and it's not something you're connecting with? Emotional impact of a book is definitely more important to me. I will push through a lot of books even if I'm not enjoying them. Like Middlemarch is a good example of this happening to me very recently. Middlemarch was not capturing my attention, but I kept going because I wanted to finish the behemoth of a book. So I'm the kind of person that I will continue with a book if I see merit in it or I see a reason to. I don't DNF easily. I should probably get better at that. If I want to enjoy more of what I read, I need to learn how to be okay with putting a book down. That's always been a struggle for me. But yeah, definitely emotional impact is more important than just reading a really long, chunky, detailed book. Question number 5 is, out of your league. Name the book that is way out of your league, but you went for it anyway. So this book isn't out of my league now. I feel like I would do fine with this book, but at the time when I read it the first time was 2013, and I hadn't really had a lot of experience in this genre, and I think the person I was dating at the time, this is the dating tag, isn't it, was a big Eye of the World, Wheel of Time fan, and so I picked it up because of him, and I didn't like it really that much back then. I think I gave it 3 stars. Since then, I have grown as a reader a lot, and so I do want to read these and jump back in. This is a life goal kind of series. I need to read the series. I think I will like it, but back then in 2013, I don't think I was quite the reader that I would have needed to be to appreciate it. Question number 6 is kiss, marry, kill. Name 3 books that you would kiss, marry, and kill. Since it is Victober right now, I think I'm gonna go for a Victorian theme for this question. So I am going to kiss David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. I really liked this book. It didn't end up being a favorite of mine, but it definitely is a great example of what Charles Dickens is capable of. There's some great writing. There's some amazing characters in this book. It's a wonderful book. It's a commitment. It's like 900 pages or so, but it's fantastic. I'm going to marry Jane Eyre because I am currently reading Jane Eyre for Kate Howe's read-along that she's doing, and I'm loving it. I'm just loving my reread experience. This is the 3rd time I've read Jane Eyre, so this is even maybe one of the books that I have reread the most. I don't reread that often, but when I do, it's because it's a book that I love and I want to revisit. So I feel like I'm already married to Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre and I, we have a relationship. And you guessed it, I'm going to kill Middlemarch because I don't think I want to put myself through that book again. I might try other George Eliot in the future, but I need some distance. a lot of distance. Question number 7 is the ex you just can't let go of. What book do you keep going back to? This is probably fairly cliche to say, but I do think I'm going to be rereading Harry Potter forever. I think I'll always come back to it. And no matter what dumb things J.K. Rowling puts on Twitter, I'm probably still going to revisit Harry Potter every so often. It's just a comforting, warm and fuzzy feeling series, and I'm always going to be rereading these at some point in my life. I actually started rereading it this year and then totally got sidetracked by other things, but I do want to continue on, and hopefully in 2021 I can finish my reread of the series, because I think I've never actually reread the series from the beginning to the end, but something tells me I'm going to be doing this over and over throughout my life. Question number 8 is one that I wasn't quite sure what it was asking, but I think I came up with an answer for it. So it's name the book that is the bad boy on your bookshelf. And so for me, I was thinking of any book maybe that has a controversy surrounding it. I don't know. I wasn't quite sure what this question exactly was going for, but I'm going to pick Memoirs of Geisha by Arthur Golden, because this is a book that I loved when I read it and didn't realize that there was ever a controversy around it until recently. And I looked into it a little bit, and it sounds like there was a lawsuit around this book from the woman that Arthur Golden originally interviewed to get information about this book, and she, I think, asked not to be mentioned by name, but she is mentioned in the dedication, and she was just very embarrassed that she was mentioned in it, because she said Arthur Golden didn't represent everything about a geisha perfectly, but in any case, she felt very misrepresented by it. I personally loved the experience of reading this book, and I thought it was beautifully done, but I definitely don't know everything about Japanese geishas, and it, I think, is maybe a good stepping stone book into, you know, actual factual research, but definitely don't take it as the Bible of geishas. I'm sure a lot of things in this book are fabricated because it is historical fiction, sort of the nature of historical fiction, but it does make me really sad that Arthur Golden interviewed someone and he went against his word and mentioned her when she specifically asked not to be mentioned. So that's not cool. Question number 9 is friend-zoned. Name the book that you know will be a good read, but you're kind of into this other book for now. I have been meaning to continue in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I was reading this as part of Michael Knipp's Patreon and read the first one, then got totally derailed and have not continued on. But I know that these are so good because I have been seeing people talk about them, and I know that Robin Hobb is going to be an author that I love. I 100% know this, but I just haven't continued on yet because Sanderson is getting in the way. Sanderson is such a attention hog. He just keeps writing books. Who does he think he is? You guys know I'm just kidding, right? I hope Sanderson writes books forever. He could put one out every month and I'd be really happy. Actually, I wouldn't be able to keep up, but I'd be happy. And then finally, let's tag a few people. I'm going to tag Amanda from Book Apple Tree. I recently discovered her channel and she's fantastic. I really enjoy her videos. I'm also going to tag the amazing Danny from Spinelli Speaks and the lovely Stephanie from Miss Richards Reads. And of course, if you want to do this tag, you are of course welcome to do it. I will link the original creator down below, and also Berna's. Berna, thank you for tagging me. It was a lot of fun to answer. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Keep reading great books, and until next time, bye-bye.